Greetings, Primordial God, Jason Breyer at your service. Um, so this video is gonna be a little informal. It's gonna be more of a just chatting, just me, just kind of talking. There's not gonna be really any editing. There's not gonna be anything. So, um, just keep that in mind. I just want to talk. Um, so I hope you guys all had a good New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. This video was actually supposed to come out way sooner than it is now. Um, However, I got sick around Christmas Eve and was sick all up until like the first week or two of January. And this is actually my third time recording this video because the first one had issues. The second one, I accidentally messed up my OBS settings when I was tweaking things around and exported into a format that my editing software at the time couldn't use, and also a format that I couldn't rewatch to make sure I didn't, say anything I didn't need to or anything else. But so this is the third time. So third time's the charm. Woohoo. um but I wanted to talk about, 2025 because it was quite the year. And I want to talk about what my goals and kind of hopes for 2026 are. Like I said, I think I said there will be chapters or whatever, so you guys can skip to where you guys want to watch in case you don't have a lot of time to watch the video. I would appreciate if you did watch from start to finish. But if you just want to know what my 2026 goals are, or just want to hear me talk about 2025, that's more than okay. Um, 2025. So honestly, 2025 wasn't a great year, but to be honest, it probably wasn't a great year for a lot of people. Um, and while I could give you guys like a month, 2 month specific breakdown, it isn't really necessary or relevant. So I'll kind of do a this is what happened in these 2 months, this is what happened in that month kind of thing, just so that way it's you guys get an understanding of kind of why my year and why my streaming and recording got wonky, because I haven't uploaded on this channel in almost a year, which was never intentional. It's never what I wanted. Um and streaming got a little wonky as well, and so I wanted to tell you guys why. Um so starting off with January, February, the first 2 months of the year, I started having a lot of technical issues. I was having issues with, I think, my streaming software, my PC. I started having an equipment break, like not my webcam, my microphone, um, which, um, I had broke at the time and had to get a new one and all that stuff. And then I was having issues with stuff in where I'm living. Um, like technical issues with some of the appliances, or not appliances, like lights and other stuff, um, and other issues IRL regarding that. But around the end of February, I ended up getting the flu at the time, and that would be the start of the end of health, my health, um because at the same time I started having headaches, and they started getting really bad, so it started feeling like I was going to get migraines. Uh, and it was around this time I it was really getting problematic with recording videos and streaming, um, which was unfortunate because like for example, like my PC was not able to run newer games really at the time. It was you ran a new game, it was toast. Like I tried to play Monster Hunter Wilds at the time because it was a game I was super excited for, and I understand that the game had a lot of issues at launch, and the performance isn't still the best it could be. Um, I couldn't really play the game. Like there was so much lag and everything else that I just couldn't play, and it was really disheartening because I was super stoked. I was running an old graphics card, but it was too outdated. It was like a 1660, I think it was, at like 6 gigs of VRAM, I think, if I remember correctly. And my computer just couldn't handle it when it was coming to like those kind of games. And I remember at the same time I was trying to record the I think it was the prologue demo for Crime Scene Cleaner, and because at the time the full game hadn't come out, and it looked really interesting, and I couldn't record it. It either lagged, the game was either lagging, or OBS would lag, or both, and so it was just I couldn't even record that, and there was other games I just couldn't record, and it was becoming frustrating. And these and so as time went by, it was difficult to make the content I wanted to make in a quality that you guys would enjoy. Because, if it's lagging so bad that I'm not enjoying the game, there's no way you guys are going to enjoy it because I'm not having fun. And well, for one, I'm not having fun, so it's hard for me to give you guys a good, enjoyable, laughing experience if I'm getting frustrated because I'm not able to do what I want to do. Around April, I ended up getting upgrades for my PC. Um, Papa Breyer gifted me for my birthday at the time RAM to replace it because at the time I was only running 16 gigs of RAM on one RAM stick, and he gifted me 64 gigs of RAM at the time. And then I bought a 4070 graphics card, um, and got those, and then uh, I want to say at this time I also bought a new monitor. Um, no, yeah, I think at this time I bought a new monitor as well. And having the new monitor, which ran at 100, I think 144 hertz now, compared to the 60 I was running on, and the um graphics card and the RAM, all that installed on my computer, improved everything. It allowed me to play games that way better, smoother, and it was the first time that I got to play games where I didn't have to either tinker with the settings and bring them so low that the game was probably in the worst view and quality imaginable, or having to switch games because the performance was just too bad and I couldn't play it. Um, and so I at this point I was like, I can start bringing content that I want. And I think at this time I started playing Monster Hunter Wilds again, and on stream, on Twitch, and was still making videos, I think, around this time. Um, but then I started having trouble sleeping. Um, I started having a lot of migraines. I was just, it, it felt like I was pushing myself both physically and mentally, and I was getting sick frequently when I really shouldn't have been. I really shouldn't have been having any of the issues, and a lot of it was because I was not physically, or not necessarily physically, I wasn't mentally taking days off, um, or utilizing my time well, because I'd work for a chunk of the week, then when I'd get off work, I would come and work on YouTube stuff, Twitch stuff, few other projects that aren't related. And then on the days I didn't work, I would focus entirely on making videos, streaming, and then working on anything both for YouTube and Twitch. So it was like mentally I wasn't really taking a day to just lay back, relax, and breathe. Even if I wasn't like uploading videos or streaming, I was still working on stuff for the brand. So it was like I said, it was not very much a rest day, even if I wasn't bringing content out for you guys. Um, this led into June, where like I said, I just kept getting sick over the next few months. And then June rolled around, and this is about the time where my content disappeared. Um, because at this time I had developed a severe cough and illness, and I was coughing frequently, and it appeared out of nowhere and just developed so fast, and which led me to sleep more, as I was just feeling constantly sick. I was unable to talk, and it ended up turning out to be bronchitis that I had basically developed, got over being sick, and then the cough appeared, or the cough had been there and it just hadn't appeared until my bronchitis was on its last legs. Um, and during this month, I honestly thought that there was a chance that I would have to quit making content permanently because I was coughing so much. Nothing, no cough medicine, no cough drops, no nothing. Nothing was stopping the cough. And I was losing my voice more and more, and it came to a point where I honestly thought I was probably going to lose my voice permanently. I was going to do permanent damage to my throat, and I wasn't going to be able to speak anymore. And if you watch the previous videos on this channel, the last I think two, I were me recording videos. I think while my throat was messed up. I didn't. I didn't recover until I think the beginning of July. And so I started resuming streams, and I was like, okay, soon I'm gonna try to move into making YouTube content again and all that. Um, but I kept getting sick, and I IRL matters started piling up, and soon it became very sporadic for me to have time to make content. Um, other than streams, and even streams started becoming super sporadic. There was days I just couldn't stay awake. My body wanted nothing more than to rest, and no amount of rest or caffeine seemed to improve that feeling to get to a point where I could just sit here and chat and everything else. I would try to get out of bed. My body was like, "No, you need sleep," and I'd sleep for 8 hours. I'd sleep for 10 hours. I'd sleep for whatever, and I would still feel exhausted. Um, Around October and November, I had gotten to a point where I was getting better. I was like, I can do it. And I I started planning to start a new YouTube series and start uploading and releasing consistent content on YouTube and stabilize my streaming schedule back in October, with it all like going live in November. But as always, problems arose. Um, Around that point, around I think middle to end of November, early December, um, I started having issues with my hands. Um, it started off with them constantly like trembling, a little bit of weakness of strength. I was starting to drop things a little bit, and I was like, okay, um, this isn't good. And it started becoming more frequent where my hands and wrists would hurt really bad. My strength had greatly reduced. I couldn't really move my fingers the way I wanted it to, and I ended up going and seeing a doctor, and they told me the initial diagnosis was They believe I have carpal tunnel in both my hands. And this has done a lot um in preventing content. As there's a lot of stuff I can't do as much anymore. Like I can't play like high-end like battle royales right now, and I can't play like hardcore like Terraria, for example, or games that require like a lot of dodging. Like bullet hells would be a little rough. Um as I have to wear splints for most of the day, every day. Um and so that caused a lot of issues. And then I found out on top of that that I was also pre-diabetic. Um which I personally believe, there's no confirmation on that, that probably was one of the things that was why I kept getting sick throughout the year and why I was having headaches and stuff like that. Now, like I said, I don't have a diagnosis or like a doctor going, yeah, that's probably what it was. But that's what I believe. And so it was just, yeah, 2025 was rough. That wasn't the worst thing ever. Like there was a lot of problems. Um, and it was different because I think at that time I also started making more solo content rather than focusing on making content with my friends. Um, and so it was kind of an experimental, rough yet rough year. But it is what it is. Um, well, I guess we'll go into 2026. So there is a lot I want to do in 2026, and we're already a month through, and I well, one, gotta get my button gear. I have been more consistent, for the most part. Timing wise is a little wonky, but uh, stream days are for the most part getting consistent. But one of the things I really want to do this year is I want to get out of my comfort zone when it comes to games I play. Um, so this means more games such as the horror games, which I am a scaredy cat when it comes to it, um, as well as like survival games, and some other genres, um, which I know is going to confuse some people because I don't usually play horror games, because I'm not a big fan of them because they scare me. Um, but again, I want to kind of bring more content that way. I also want to do, like I said, survival games, which is something I don't normally play because I get bored of them easily, because I get to a point in the game where I'm like, oh, I don't have to constantly be farming for resources. I don't constantly have to be hunting things. I'm now at a level where I'm self sufficient enough to not have to do all that. And then I get bored and then I quit playing. And um, I think I want to just explore more games and see if maybe there's a survival game that sticks to me that I really want to play. Because maybe I just haven't found the right survival game, you know? I also want to make VR content this year. I have a VR headset that's just sitting there staring me down every time I wake up. Um, that I, for the most part, know how to use. Well, not use, but like set up. So I think I still have to do a little bit more tweaking to make sure my recording software can pick that up. But I want to do a lot more VR content. Um, Even if that's just simple vlogs like this in VR. Um, you know, um, or exploring and exploring maybe horror maps or other just maps in general, just exploring VR by myself for the most part, just because I don't want to open up and do with randos unless it's YouTube videos, because that's just nightmarish. Nothing like that doing live and then having, uh, getting banned because someone said something they shouldn't, right? Another big thing I really want to do, it's not really want to do, it's I need to do, is I need to stop comparing myself to other content creators. Um, I I see I have a really bad habit where I see my friends or other content creators and I'm like, man, they're growing really quickly, and sometimes it just puts me in the mindset of, what am I doing wrong? Am I just a bad content creator? Should I quit? And it's because I start going, I know I'm not doing the best I could do. I'm not hunting for the newest thing. I'm not optimizing my tags, or I'm not, making the next best thumbnail. I'm not doing all that. And so it just, my brain starts going, I'm not doing these things. Is it my fault? Are they doing something better? Like it's never one of envy. That's not, I'm never just envious. It's more of a, they're doing this, they're succeeding. What am I doing wrong? Not, why am I not succeeding? I understand. Probably a good chunk of the reason why I'm not um out there is because, one, Twitch's discoverability is nightmarish, and YouTube is, I think, rough. I think difficult still until you hit 100 follow subscribers, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I've never kept track of YouTube's algorithm to see when they start promoting your content. So I know there's things I'm not doing well, and so my brain would also go, well, you have these new streamers who just start off, um, and all of a sudden, thousands of viewers, hundreds of, maybe a couple thousand followers, all like almost instantly. And part of my brain realizes that some of that is from maybe their marketing or stuff beforehand, or their rebranding, or it's a, like for VTubers, for example, maybe they were once a different VTuber and now this is who they are now, and so all their previous following is now moving to this account. Like you see with VTuber graduations, where they graduate as one and then become a different VTuber, and so it's something I definitely have to work on, because it's never one of those, why do they get it and I don't, because that's not the way I am. I want everyone to achieve what they want. I want to achieve this. I want to make this a career, but I don't want to feel like I have to drag others down, or that I'm more deserving than anyone else, because that's not true. We all have to put in hard work. We all have to do everything else. And I know I'm part of the more niche group anyway, because, one, I'm a variety streamer, which is difficult on Twitch, and sometimes, and YouTube to some extent, because it likes to have more consistent, this is the content they do every time. Um, as well as being a male VTuber is a harder audience to reach than, like female VTubers. Um, so it's just, like I said, it's just one of those things I have to work on, and yeah. Another thing I really want to do, it's difficult, but I really want to get back into it, is a more consistent schedule for both streaming and video uploads, because I would like to stream at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week, and upload 3 videos a week for you guys. So that way, you guys here on YouTube can watch video content, and then if you're awake, up and around on the weekend or whatever, whenever my days are, you guys can pop in and say hello on the Twitch channel. Um, and potentially I might also stream or like multi-stream at some point, because I think that would be fun and cool to do for to get both communities together at some point, but I don't know if I will do that yet. Um, I also want to get a lot more consistent um with the archiving of my streams, because for those of you who don't know, I have an archive channel which um is where I put all my streams after finishing the stream over on Twitch, uh, so that way people can watch playthroughs that maybe they didn't get to see all of or anything else. Um, However, it's taken me a while to get them all active, like all uploaded and all set up. So I want to get more consistent with making sure that once I finish a stream within a day or two, that it moves over to the archive channel. Um, Another thing I really want to do is I really want to collab more with others. Um, and this could be online. I think it's online and offline, I think are the terms. Um, for um for collabs, I think are the terminology for it. I think where um where like online being you both streaming, or offline being one of you is streaming, I think would be a lot of fun. And I'm open. I really want to like when it comes to collabs, I really want to do more streams and videos with my friends. Um, but I also want to do it with a lot more like new people as well, because I just want to make game. I want to play games and everything with a lot more people. Like I um this is now a few years ago, but I did a collab with a bunch of people. It was kind of a spontaneous. I wasn't sure I was gonna join, but it was an Among Us collab, and I don't have the video footage for it because the quality was so bad. And you couldn't hear other people because Discord does that stupid thing where it sometimes changes your input and output devices and you don't know it until it's too late. Um, and but it was one of the most fun collabs I had. I was with like a bunch of people at the time. Some of the people I still follow on Twitter, I don't interact with a huge amount, just because we all kind of did our own separate things and time zones and all that stuff. But it was like, uh, but it was a huge amount of fun, and I want to do more of that. The only thing I usually require when it comes to collabs, and this is just for people here and for everything else, is usually to meet and talk with a person beforehand. I don't mean meet in person. I mean like if like get in Discord, call and hang out, chat and talk. But that's more so that way I know your sense of humor and personality, because you're gonna know mine because you're watching the videos and you see my jokes, my sense of humor, everything else. Um, and but I want to make sure that while you find that stuff funny, you won't get like insulted or upset if I direct those jokes to you at you. Because like for me, for example, me and Rev, you'll see her on in the Dead by Daylight videos. Sometimes in stream, she'll pop up in my chat and hang out. And sometimes a few other videos, you'll see her more as I think FemRev, and she's an amazing friend of mine. And but we bicker back and forth throughout the entire time. I'm making fun of her, I'm teasing her, and everything else, but she knows it's all in good fun. And I like that's the kind of the way I'm very playful when it comes that way, and so I always want to make sure that if I play a game with someone and I decide to tease them or poke fun at them, that they're not going to take it the wrong way. Um, which is why I usually like to meet and get to know someone a little bit before I will agree to a collab. Um, Plus, it allows me to test things. Um, um, and if I do a collab, I always have to make sure I get all my settings and everything set up so that way, I don't have another mistake where I stream or record a video and wow, I can't hear anyone else. Or I can hear everyone, but you guys can't, and things like that. Another thing I really want to do is really not necessarily get out of my shell. That's not quite the um a way. Express myself more, I guess would probably be the better way to say it. I don't talk about this a lot, and it's not bad or anything like that. So don't be like, oh no. Um, but with the people I live with, they sleep at night. So for a long time, it was very much I didn't record videos or I didn't stream at certain points because they'd be sleeping, because they work, like I said, they work overnight, and they've told me now, hey, don't. We can't hear you if you're talking or anything else. If you're screaming, then yeah, we'll hear you, but stream whenever you want, do whatever you're gonna do. Don't don't worry about it. Um, and at the same time, I was also very much, I guess, feeling not necessarily self-conscious, but I was toning down my toning myself down, if you will. Um, I'm being very reserved, I think is the right way to put it. Um, it's like when someone with when you I'm trying to figure out how to word it. If someone's like a nerd about something, like let's say you're a huge fan um of this specific genre or this book or this game, for example, and um someone gets you on the topic. Some people will just like they'll just basically burst at the seams and start flooding the whole conversation with information, take over. Um, but I don't want to be over. For me, I don't want to be overbearing, so I will be like, oh yeah, I like that, and this is a little bit why, but I won't like fully go all out. And it's that way with streaming as well. I try to keep more reserved because I don't want to be like. I try to tone down my jokes a little bit. I try to tone down certain things so that way I don't come off as overbearing or or do other things. So it's like I need to I want to start being start I don't know how to phrase it, so it's really wonky. I'm just throwing terms out there and hoping one of them is right and it sticks. Um I want to be more vocal about things. I want to start exploring new ways to make content and overall just be myself more than having to than feeling like I gotta be this more reserved or toned down version of myself. And because I mean it's obvious. I mean, I've noticed it and it's very clear when you watch today's content compared to content from a few years ago. And a lot of that's stress and a few other things as well, but I really want to just start going all out and being true to myself, which is um something I struggle with because I get in this as well as this mindset is I need to be the kind of person you guys want to watch or and just like with games I'm like, well, this game looks fun, but will it make good content? No, well then I will skip over it and things like that. And so I need to just go, who cares? You guys are here to watch me play whatever I'm wanting to play. whether that's here on YouTube, over on Twitch, um, and it's just the thing I have to really stick with. And no, you guys are gonna want to watch whatever I'm playing if it's something that interests you. Not every person's gonna watch every video I make or every stream. I understand that, and but you guys are gonna stick around because it's me, not because I'm doing what I think you'll like. If that makes sense. I do also have a few more goals specific um for the brand. One, I'm really wanting to hit 100 subscribers this year on the YouTube channel. I know we're only at a very small number, and I know again that's my fault. Oh, well, me being sick and everything else, I haven't been uploading and I haven't been recording and uploading. There is um videos being recorded and set up, so you guys will see a few more videos go out this week. For some games. I started playing a survival game, so you guys will see that. And then uh, I do also want to hit affiliate over on Twitch, um, and to real quick explain for those of you who are new to the channel and maybe this is the first video you're seeing. I do want to explain why I talk about them like they're different brands or like different entities, and it's not because they're like they don't cross over. Some of the videos you guys have seen are cut up sections of streams. But the reason is because um over on Twitch I do a lot of full playthroughs of games or um like we just got done playing all the way through Crime Scene Cleaner and are now playing through Cyberpunk. So if that interests you, you should come check it out. Um while the channel here is usually a lot more like maybe smaller games, like indie games that are like games that you find like on itch.io, a lot of free games, some demos, various things like that. Games that I wouldn't necessarily think would be interesting enough to stream, but I'm willing to try out. Games that I don't think I'll maybe do a full playthrough of. Like some of the survival games I have on my list, or some other games I have on the list that I'm going to. I keep waving my hand like you guys can see it. Some um on the list. Um, I go, these look fun, but maybe I'm not going to enjoy it, and so maybe I won't enjoy it, or maybe it's just not going to have enough content um for a stream. Because some of the games I play are early access. Some of them are, like I said, very early on in development, and so that's kind of why I talk about them as different things. Because while they're both gaming, they're a lot more separate in that regard. I will probably bring in more um like let's play style videos onto this channel. I do really want to get back into that. I had a lot of fun playing through some of the demos or fan games and various other stuff that people have done for like Hololive and other stuff. Um like I said, I do want to grow both the channels, about the YouTube channel and um the Twitch channel. And then I really want to get more active with social media. Social media is one of my biggest flaws when it comes to, or not to say flaws, one of my biggest weaknesses when it comes to content, because I'm not ashamed to admit I'm not a very interesting person outside of content creation. Um, I don't like everyone goes, "Oh, I ate this," or "I did this today," or "I went and saw this location," or "I went and hung out with so and so." And for me, I don't do a lot of that stuff. I wake up, come over, sit in front of my desk, watch YouTube videos, browse Twitter here and there, maybe write in my spare time, work on projects for another brand if that's not relevant right now. Um, and things like that. And so none of that's really, so I don't really do much. And just like with eating, I get up and I made some eggs, or I went and had ramen, ate a cup of noodle at my desk, so it's not like I do super interesting things. So, um, and I don't have like, 24/7 shower thoughts. So it's like I feel like I'm not using social media to the extent of what I should be, but I'm like at the same time I'm like I don't know what to post. I interact with other people, um, and do stuff like that. But it's tough, for me at least. A couple more things, and then we'll kind of wrap this video up because this video is getting way longer than I wanted, and I don't want that to be. Um, the other thing is I really want to launch a 2D version of this model, or another upgraded version that has way better facial tracking and stuff. It's something I really want to do, is a new improved model. Um, and I talked about it earlier, but about the comparing myself to others, or kind of getting, or the but on top of that, I also have the mindset of, oh, I'm small, so I won't reach out to others, um, and so this was a big problem with my stream team when I was in one, where one, it was I joined a more Australian, or stream team, which was, I think it was Australian. I think it was a bunch of other people as well, but I think the leader, the captain, was Australian, and it made it rough because time zone difference. Plus, I always felt like I wasn't interacting enough because I always felt nervous about reaching out, and so it kind of flopped. And you'll see me do that a lot when it comes to like communicating. I always am reluctant to reach out to people because I'm like, oh, I'm very small. I have a small amount of subscribers on YouTube, and I don't have a huge following on Twitch. Um, like I joined a Discord server. You'll see it in my responses. Where Yoka Siri was going, hey, this server is for collabs and reaching out to people. Um, why don't you, I'm looking for people who are interested. And I was very much like, I'm very small, I don't have a huge following, but if you will take me, then I'm interested, kind of thing. And that's something I really have to work on. I need to not compare my numbers and be like, oh, I'm itty bitty, so no one's gonna care. um and I just need to be like, I'm me, so I'm gonna reach out. What if they're not interested in my personality, who I am, then so be it. Not focus on the numbers. um but yeah, so let's wrap this up. I could find way more stuff to talk about, but I don't want to make this an hour-long video. And if it gets a little long, I'm sorry. I'm not editing this video in any way. You guys are just gonna get it raw, because I didn't want to edit down this video when it's just my thoughts and going directly from me to you guys. I will say that with all my goals, hopes, plans for this year, that I can't promise anything for sure is going to get set in stone. And this is because I have to undergo some medical tests towards the end of next month, and followed by seeing another doctor to um, see what can be done about my hands, whether this is going to be something that can be solved through like something simple like physical therapy, or if this will be a kind of thing that needs surgery. Um, so with that, there's really no way for me to fully achieve my goals, as I'm going to have to take things slow. But I will be slowly working on this stuff and trying to bring you guys content. So I do ask that you guys please bear with me while I struggle through life's current challenges and move towards bringing you guys all the content and joy and fun that I like to do. Um, But yeah, links to everything that I mentioned, my YouTube, my archive channel, my Twitch channel, and my Twitter will be in the description. And all that. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, I hope you guys all had a good New Year, and I hope the year has been going well so far for you. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.